in the name of Deputy Johnny Girk to the Minister for Housing, Local Government and Heritage to discuss the contracts home buyers signed in Ringfort in Rathmolyon, County Meath. Deputy.
Thanks, Ciarán. Minister, I have to just say at the beginning that I'm a little bit disappointed that the Senior Minister for Housing is not here to answer this very, very important issue that we have going on at the moment. The Ringfort Development in Rathmolyon, County Meath has been plagued by mismanagement, delay tactics and questionable dealings that have left 5 families locked out of their homes for more than 5 years. It's been more than 5 years since couples put a booking deposit down on a home in the Ringfort Development. They signed contracts on homes that were being built, and instead of being in their new homes, they spent the past 5 years trapped in limbo, paying rent, storing furniture and living with a constant sense of uncertainty and frustration. They paid their initial $5,000 deposit in October 2020, followed by a balance of $24,500 in early 2021. One couple signed their contract in July 2021 and were told to expect completion within 18 months by the end of 2022, and that never happened. What began as small delays soon spiralled into a nightmare for these buyers. In early 2023, they were told by the developer that each buyer would need to pay an additional $60,000 to make the project viable. It was extortion. In May 2024, it was agreed to pay an additional $26,000 each to help move things along. A letter confirming this agreement was sent to solicitors. It wasn't subject to contract, it was open correspondence. The home buyers accepted and signed, believing the end was near. By late 2024, every house on the site was structurally complete. The utilities were connected. All that remained were the final road surfacing and landscaping works. Now in 2025, a liquidator has been appointed, plunging everything back into chaos. The home buyers now face the prospect of losing the homes that they already paid deposits and signed contracts for. The financial stress and emotional toll has been immense on the 5 home buyers that didn't pull out of their contracts. They've spent thousands in rent since 2020, not to mention storage costs and lost savings. One family from the group was evicted from their rental home earlier this year and is now living in a single bedroom with their young child. Another couple lives less than 200 yards from the Ringfort site, and every time they pass it, they said they feel a mix of heartbreak and anger. Their contracts, you would guess, are legally binding. They have paid deposits and the homes are built, but these families cannot move in. Even if these families had their deposits returned, they simply can no longer purchase houses at today's prices, which is essentially leaving them homeless. One couple stated how ordinary people can do everything right and still lose. They have gone through every proper channel, kept every line of communication open and offered compromise after compromise, and still no progress has been made. The families who signed contracts for these homes are asking for accountability. Minister, I first brought this up nearly 2.5 years ago. Can I ask you to intervene and contact the Revenue Commissioners and your Department of Housing to step in and ensure the home buyers' contracts are honoured after 5 years? And will you meet the 5 families affected as soon as possible? Minister, these families are close to losing everything they have worked so hard for. They need help and support from us all, and they need it now, Minister.
Thanks, Deputy Girk. Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Girk, for raising what is a very distressing situation for the home buyers who entered into contracts and indeed paid significant deposits for the purchase of 16 homes at Ringfort Development in Rathmolyon in County Meath. I have read news reports as recently as this morning about this case, and my deepest sympathies go out to those families. I understand the frustration that they're facing. For many of us, buying a new home is a dream. It's an aspiration, of course, for all families, and the government is committed, obviously, to ensuring that such aspirations can be realised. That's why we published the government's Housing Action Plan last week, which commits to the delivery of over 300,000 homes to the end of 2030, including 90,000 starter home supports. As I'm sure the Deputy will understand, this is a matter that is subject to ongoing legal process, and the developer company is appointing a liquidator, is my understanding, and accordingly I'm constrained in what I can say on the matter. And while I certainly share the understandable concerns of the Deputy and the families concerned, there are clear laws of contract and legal frameworks governing the purchase of houses which should be enforced. I'm aware that state support has been drawn upon by both the home buyers and the developer concerned. I understand that the Help to Buy was used by some of the home buyers to support the purchase, while the developer drew down loan funding from the Home Building Finance Agency to help finance the development, debt of which I am given to understand has been repaid. Notwithstanding that state support was provided, the matter remains a private, contractual and legal one between the homeowners, home buyers and the developer in question, and accordingly it would be inappropriate for me as Minister or the Government to intervene, especially when the appropriate legal processes are underway.
As state support has been drawn down on these houses, I believe that you can intervene. And I think we need to intervene. I visited the site in Ringfort last Friday, and blocks were being delivered to complete works on the boundary wall. This site is nearly complete, which begs the question, why would you continue to work on the site if you're going to liquidate it? Minister, yesterday we attended a meeting with the liquidator, the developer and the home buyers. The home buyers left the meeting with many questions unanswered. The homes they paid deposits on is built, the lights are on, but 5 years after giving deposits, as you said yourself, some with the help of the Help to Buy scheme, the doors are still locked for the 5 families that just want to move into their forever home. Residents believe this case exposes how existing company and receivership law allows directors to manipulate processes at the expense of ordinary homebuyers. I have seen developments delayed in different towns, Minister. Developers are hoping that homebuyers pull out of legally binding contracts so they can get the current market value for houses they're building, which is increasing and increasing at an all-time high. Minister, if the price decreased in the value, the developer would expect contracts to be honoured. So it should be the same the other way around. Can I ask you again, Minister, to intervene here so that these home buyers can move into their homes? The way the home buyers are being treated is appalling. The flaws in Ireland's housing regulation and receivership system are being taken advantage of. I ask you, please, Minister, can you make the right decision and intervene to protect these 5 home buyers and families that remain and want their contracts, a legally binding agreement, honoured in the middle of a housing crisis?
Thanks, Deputy.
Look, Deputy, as I said in my opening statement, I have great sympathy for those who are trying to purchase homes here and across the country. That's why, as a government, we are putting supports in place, like the one that you mentioned, to be able to support home buyers in purchasing their first home. I would love to be able to solve this matter for the individuals and families in question. But as you'll appreciate, there are contractual and legal frameworks that govern the purchase of properties that have to be followed. And this is a matter that there is a legal process ongoing. And as a result, unfortunately, as Minister, I'm not in a position to be able to intervene. I want to see these families to be able to be in their homes as much as you do. And certainly, from a department perspective, we are keeping a very close eye on proceedings and what is happening here in this particular instance. But unfortunately, given the state of the circumstances that face us at the moment, it's just not appropriate to be able to intervene in this situation.
Thanks, Minister. Thank you, Deputy Girk. Move to